again, everybody, and welcome to Somerset Sports, a production of Somerset County Recreation Parks and Tourism. I'm Gary, along with Jack from Great Hope Golf Course, home of the Skipjack Super Pass. And if you want to know anything about that, you can go ahead and call the golf course, and Jack will be happy. Jack, what's the number?
410-651-5900.
All right, that's the number. Call, find out all about it. It's a great deal.
It's the best deal in town.
Yes, it is. And we are here a couple of weeks after the Super Bowl. We got our predictions right, so it's not like we were hiding.
Huh? How about that? We were right.
Yeah. And, we just wanted to give you what we think about the game, our thoughts, and I think it went kind of how we thought it would go.
Oh, absolutely. It was a phenomenal game.
It was fun to watch.
It was one of the best, and boy, just gripping throughout. It's a lot of action and everything we said, a lot of running, a lot of passing, a lot of hurts.
Yeah.
And then the wizard on the other side, who I said was the guy that could bring it home.
Yeah.
And he did exactly that. So Mahomes is, after 5 years, wow. His credentials are pretty darn good.
We'll talk about that in a minute. I just wanted to talk about how Hurts, that first half, was incredible.
He just
running, passing, but it was a game of two halves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think whatever adjustments the Chiefs made were the right ones.
Yeah, and they seem to have been able to do that over the course of their successes, is make those adjustments. And that's where Reed, I think, really is, maybe underestimated.
Right.
Because he seems to be able to either find people or have it in his own, way of doing it, that he can kind of make those midstream adjustments to counteract the negative situations that come up. Which,
and
that's a real skill there.
They scored on each possession the Chiefs did in the second half.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
And
wow.
Down by 10 at halftime.
Yep.
And
the refs weren't a big part of it, of course, until the holding call on the pass play that ended up bringing the ball to the 1 yard line and enabled the Chiefs to run the clock out. It's just, as I said to somebody, if you don't like that idea of the refs, being part of it, let's have a game where there's no refs.
Right.
And see how the players do.
Happens.
Because, in the schoolyard days, you didn't have refs. Somehow you figured out, you played a game, you had a winner and a loser. I don't think it's the greatest thing for National Football League.
Sometimes
but
you got into fights.
What an exercise it would be.
It would be.
Wouldn't it be interesting?
Well, maybe that XFL.
Well, maybe that's right, because they do some things that apparently are kind of interesting, like with the kickoff.
All
the defense. I watched it the other day. All the kickoff defenders are all the way down there, so it looks more just like a run than
and nobody can move until the guy catches it.
I like that idea.
Because
the kickoff now is, I don't know. It's like 80+%, 90% are in the end zone, and they don't bring them back anyway, which is good because it does protect the returners. Yeah. But it's taken a little bit of potential excitement out of the game, because nothing more exciting than a 100-yard return and seeing that develop, and it can be a game-changing, momentum-changing situation. Yeah. But I saw that and I thought, wow, there's maybe something to that. So whoever came up with that idea, was pretty smart. So.
Now the rest of the XFL.
I haven't really watched much.
I watched a little bit last night.
Is the talent level, reasonable?
Well,
make plays and all that.
I guess.
I haven't tuned in, to be honest.
It's hard to tell.
I'm into college basketball now.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the level of talent.
Yeah.
Because these are a lot of guys who, practice squad guys in the NFL, guys who got cut, maybe guys who couldn't hold on to a job in the fall when they made the final cuts.
Right.
Those type of guys. And it's just, I don't know. From what I saw, it just looked like two teams
and the
playing.
thing, it's been done and not succeeded, not just once. I think this is second or third generation of the XFL.
Yeah.
My thought about it is, because I'm a pretty regular fan when it comes to interest in the NFL, is that we've been trained on the time that football's played.
Right.
You know, from late August, it's training camps, and that's basically all gone away except for 2 weeks or something. And it may all yet go away because of the expanded more games of the season. But by the time the Super Bowl's over, it's pretty much like, okay, we're not football till the
Right.
fall.
Yeah.
And then so to insert more football, I get there's probably a certain percentage of folks that can't get enough football and will follow this and just love it, I guess. But I don't know, as an overall opportunity for a business to succeed and to have enough, interest in it, it seems, again,
And don't forget-
challenging. So,
Don't forget the USFL.
well, there's another one,
Comes
right?
out in a couple
They're
weeks
coming
too.
out, too,
I
so.
think they debut in March.
It's great for the players that
Yeah.
don't get a chance in the
Yeah.
NFL, so you gotta
And
love that part of it.
And it's great for coaches
Yeah,
and management personnel.
Yeah.
Because they get to watch these guys play and get a good.
well, and see, maybe
live.
there's really no minor league, pro minor league. The pro minor league now is what it really always has been is the NC2A, it's college.
Yeah.
And maybe this, but see, the youth, the 22-year-old legs on a running back are way better than 26-year-old legs
Yeah.
that have been used for 4 years in a minor league. So maybe there's not something there as far as like running backs, but for like quarterbacks and receivers who need to learn to run routes and this, that, and the other thing, maybe it's a great training ground for there. But it's not set up that way. It's set
Right.
up as a pro league,
Right.
both of them, to be like the NFL. Well, not
Yeah.
like it, but similar, but at the off time of the year. So
Yeah. And
you
it-
need more football. Here's more football.
And
So,
it was a different time when the USFL played
yeah.
back in the day.
Oh yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
They went at it to challenge the
Well, they did.
NFL.
They did absolutely.
And they had the money
They had it.
to get, look at all the guys who played
That's right.
in the USFL.
It
Herschel
went in
Walker
there.
did,
Yep.
Jim Kelly did,
That's right.
you know.
A bunch of guys. Warren Moon, I think,
Flutie.
was in there.
Yeah, they had Steve Young.
Yep.
They had the money to challenge
Yep.
the NFL.
And
that's what you need, the money,
right.
you know.
Right.
Now, these other two leagues now, I don't think have that kind of backing.
I don't know why. There must be some upside to it because it's real and it's
Yeah.
happening, and networks have given them a pile of money in order to do it, apparently.
Right.
So there must be some sense that there's viewers out there that will pay the freight
Still
essentially
wanna
and want
see
to do
football.
it. So
Yeah.
great. It's just more reason to sit and watch TV, watch
And
sports.
I like football as much as the next guy, and it's just hard for me to watch that.
Yeah, I haven't even given it a go, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I will, because like I said, college basketball's now got me. I'm one of those seasonal guys where
Yeah.
I jump in.
Yeah.
College basketball back in November doesn't mean anything. Now I'm interested and seeing how the teams are playing, and it's the cream is rising to the top. Although on any given night, number 2 can lose to
Yeah.
a no name team or a lesser team.
Yeah.
And it's happened all year long, and it just comes down now to the tournament. But I don't mean to digress, but that's
No, that's fine.
that's where I am
Yeah,
as
well,
far
and
as
I'm-
watching and
I'm heading there too. That's
focusing.
how,
Yeah, because man, I tell you what, if you get ESPN Plus, which I do, you can find on any night, Monday through Sunday, there's 2 or more games available, and usually like last night there were like 20 games
yeah,
that you could have watched on ESPN Plus in the small schools,
right.
and I love checking in on the small schools.
It's fun to watch because you get a
'Cause-
look at them and you go, huh, like they may be first in their
Right.
in their conference.
There's a team
And-
called Drake that's
Yeah.
that's playing great right now, and I'm thinking, there's my upset.
Yeah.
There's my 16 seed or
There you
whatever.
go. Yeah,
if
there's-
they even get in,
Yeah.
but I think they'll get in because they've got a darn good record.
It's fun watching those
And,
guys play because you appreciate
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Oh yeah, but there's some talented folks.
Yeah.
The parity of basketball is ever more, down deeper and wider with these kids that just are phenomenal athletes, some great coaching, and it really shows that, over the years, basketball has been learned and studied, and like football, how meticulous each detail is to ramp up and go up the ladder. But so
And
that's,
we'll get into basketball.
yeah, well, there's plenty
as we
coming.
get
The
along.
March Madness,
As we
it's
get
right around the
along
corner.
further in what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But
Back to football, there's my team, the Commanders,
that's what I was going to say. They just
is,
got a new offensive coordinator.
has somehow, and it was part of the talk radio scene last week that Ron Rivera, the coach, was slacking off because he wasn't hiring anybody or 2 weeks ago, I guess, before the Super Bowl, because they can't talk to any of the team, they can't hire anybody from a team that's in the Super Bowl.
Right, while they're
So apparently Ron had this figured out, or at least a potential, to get Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. And it's a well-known, well-documented scenario with Bieniemy that he's not a head coach at this point. But he's done quite well as the assistant coach, whatever they call him, assistant head coach, coordinator at there. And so he's got, like he showed in his apparently showed in his press conference yesterday. He goes, yeah, but I got these, and he showed the 2 rings. But he interviewed very well in that press conference, and was very head coach-like in his answers, very passionate about his situation, and wants to prove himself as a coach at another place.
Yeah.
And why he picked the Commanders, I mean, they got some great offensive talent, but they don't have a quarterback yet that's proven. I'm not, we're all kind of on the fence with how, one game, one win, great, but you can't base, the future on one game.
Right.
And they're not talking about going after any of the potential free agents at this point. But Bieniemy sure would like to have another run around, good throwing quarterback if he can find one, and because that's the offense that he's used to, being in charge of. So
It'll be interesting to see how good he really is. You coach under Andy Reid, you always saw every time they cut to him, he's got the play call sheet in front of his face.
Right.
Who's making the calls?
Right.
It
will be
it's different.
His turn.
Yeah, it's different to be involved in the process.
That's right.
But is he the guy?
Is he more just a motivator than
a
tactician?
Yeah.
Which may end up being what we learn about him.
Yeah, and that's I think what he's got to find out if he is the guy who can.
And maybe that's even better for being a head coach, in a way, because you have so many things that, like Joe Gibbs, I don't think he called a lot of plays. He had offensive coordinators and he had defensive coordinators, and he just was basically the maestro among the players in the band, and he put together great people. That's what he was about.
Right.
Was getting great people in those positions that he could motivate, and maybe Bieniemy ultimately will get that opportunity. But the Commanders. Sorry, I'm just
still going to take a long time. Yeah, I hear you.
50 years, call him the R word. But they need to go to the playoffs to give Rivera a chance to be hired.
He's
again.
Been there how long? I don't even know.
This is his
Fourth?
fourth year coming up, I think. So he's been there 3, maybe. He had one playoff season, I think, his second year, and that was a 7-9 record. They won the division, So that's nothing to.
Yeah, we'll see if Bieniemy helps him. I don't know. You got to wonder. He never got a shot at a head coach.
Right. Well,
there's got to be a reason.
Yeah, there's
And was it because Reed was making the calls?
Maybe maybe there's an underlying factor there that will be found out, or maybe he shines. Maybe he chose to, be deprecating to Reed for the betterment of the team, and not try to compete with him and just say, look, you do that, I'll take care of the rest. You call the play and I'll make sure they run the darn thing. So. There's chemistry, and all winning teams have a chemistry that It's hard to describe at times. And if you lose one of the pieces, sometimes it just falls all apart because that was so important to have that kind of tight-knit things flowing from place to place. And all great athletes will tell you that you know, the greatness, there's a little luck in there in that finding the right spot, getting the right opportunity, taking advantage of the right time, or the time that you get the chance and going with it. And this could be, you know, his do or die moment as far as those opportunities. But he's got great position players right now. He's got some super wide receivers that are young. He's got super running backs that are young, tight ends that are solid. You know, the problem is in the middle with the offensive line is a little bit, you know, weak as far as being able to protect the quarterback. And then the quarterback is, you know, we saw last time they gave Heineke a chance last year and he just didn't have it.
He had that magic for a while.
He's got the gift of being a great teammate, great leader, great locker room guy, apparently. I mean, he's well loved in that locker room. But he can't run one way and throw it the other way like he wants to. And he throws these little crazy shots over the middle that you just go, whoa, what are you doing? And it's an opportunity to be intercepted. And that's where, you know, you take the good with the bad, but he just couldn't. He won some games. I mean, I think more than half of his games, which in the NFL, boy, you can put that on the mantle, you know, and be proud of that. But as far as being the guy that's gonna take you further in a team like this, it just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. So he'll probably get traded, or he'll be allowed to be picked up by someone on free agency.
Solid backup.
But solid backup
can
guy.
Win you some games.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hasn't proven
and
he can
then
go the long
Sam Howell, I mean, wouldn't it be a great story if he were given a chance and he were a great quarterback? I
remember him.
Would be a great opportunity.
I remember him at North Carolina.
Yeah.
I was impressed with what I saw. I thought
he
was really dynamic as a player.
I tell you, the only time I saw him was in that last game of the season, and I was wowed. Yeah. I thought he's got the skills, it seems, to do great things.
Yeah.
So I know Dallas was playing like a bunch of dogs in that game, but still, it's still the NFL. You know, you're still getting rushed, and you're still going to get hurt if you get
they're still coming after you.
They're not just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting off season all around for the Commanders, as well for the whole NFL.
Yeah.
There's so many talks about all these older quarterbacks and where they're going to end up, and will Tom Brady even stay in retirement? You know,
maybe in 3 months he'll come back out and decide he wants to.
It's
to
probably,
play again.
Yeah,
some team will, with a top-ranked defense and offensive weapons, will call.
Yeah,
they're just missing the quarterback, and
can he stay away? That's really the question. Can he stay away? And that's the thing with these kinds of superstars is to break away from that life so hard. And can he do it? Maybe he'll play more golf, because he got to come down here and get a skipjack super pass.
Well, we'll offer to him. See what he says.
Yeah. But he's got to pay for it, though. I'm not giving it away. No freebies. I'm not giving it away.
Yeah. And just something popped in my head when we were talking about Bieniemy. It's like, do you remember him in college?
I do not.
He was a great running back in Colorado.
He was a running back. I didn't know that.
And
actually,
I think he played when Colorado might have won a national championship.
I think
he was on that good team, one of those when they were really good.
Now that you say that, it rings a bell back in those days.
Yeah.
And he played in the NFL too, from what they were saying today. I didn't even know that.
I don't remember him playing much.
Yeah.
But
well, he's certainly a lifer, you know. So, and he's not a young chicken now. I mean, he's in his close to 60, right, or 55, or somewhere in there.
Yeah, he might be
55. I think he's in the middle 50s.
He might be there.
So,
but So
time will tell.
You got to talk about your team a little bit.
Yes, let's hear
real
about
quick.
You.
Green Bay Packer guy.
Yeah. What's going to happen?
Well, Aaron Rodgers came out of the dark. He was going to be in some dark retreat for 4 days.
Was that true? Because I heard that was a rumor.
I saw a headline that said he came out after 2 days.
Oh, well.
So maybe he saw the light.
Maybe
and
so.
And he's going to stay.
He's from California.
Well,
and I lived in California. that's not that unusual. in
Yes, I'm
California.
sure there's a lot of that going on.
I
But
love you, California. I don't mean to say
I hope he
bad about
stays.
California.
I hope he stays.
Yeah, he should stay.
They're talking about getting rid of him and letting Love do it, but the Packers have a better chance of making the
Oh.
playoffs with Rodgers than without him.
Right.
Now, they've got to put some people around him.
And the problem is,
On their offensive line.
he's due $60 million
Yeah,
next year. So
Yeah,
how many
that cap hit would be
how
tough.
many good free agents can you get? You better be lucky in the draft
yeah,
and get a great receiver or two.
yeah. Well, I think they need
But they need some other.
offensive
parts of it,
line
too.
help,
Yeah.
defensive help on the defensive line, and
Right.
I'm not impressed at all with their linebackers.
Yeah.
They had that rookie Walker
Yeah.
who got ejected out of 2 games for hitting people not wearing
Right.
pads.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
You know, I guess he had a string of a couple games in a row
Yeah.
where he played well,
Right.
but I didn't think. I think the middle of their defense, that middle level of linebackers, needs some upgrading.
Sure.
And then if
See, that goes to the chemistry I was talking about. Is that to win those bigger games, it really goes to the core of the middle of the field. I mean, it's great to have position superstars,
yeah,
but you got to have guys that are pretty solid in the linebacker, on the defense, on the offense, tight end, blockers, tacklers. That's the core of the game.
yeah,
And a lot of times, these teams just get lucky because they scout really well, and they get a Penn State linebacker that's
yeah,
like the guy that went to Dallas, Micah,
Oh, yeah.
Micah Parsons.
yeah.
I mean, he's unbelievable how good that guy. I think he went
Yeah.
to Penn State.
He did. Yeah.
So, and he'll be a superstar in the NFL for a long time. So they have that position pretty much set up for as long as
Right.
they pay him.
Yeah,
But for like Green Bay, it really doesn't necessarily come to getting that kind of a big name superstar right out of college. It's just solid guys
They
that
need-
they can work
yeah.
with and develop and teach those schemes on the defensive side.
yeah,
But Rodgers brings what Rodgers brings, and is that enough? Again, one more year for Green
And
Bay to be
their-
happy
their window's getting
with the
smaller.
return.
Yeah,
Because it was horrible for the first half of the year, horrible, and then they came back and they won some games and it got interesting,
yeah.
and then they lost that game that would have kept them going into the
Detroit,
to
yeah, the game
to
at Detroit.
yeah.
Detroit never sweeps them.
But
And
I mean, Rodgers is good enough in my mind, but having watched him a little bit this year, to do a couple more years.
Yeah.
I don't see him physically
no,
breaking down. He
still-
still can throw the ball,
I think he's the best thrower in the league.
and he
that,
does
you
need
know-
some more pieces. He needs some guys that can separate and he's one of those smart quarterbacks. He doesn't do dumb things like run into tackles.
Yeah.
And he seems to be able to stay away from getting hurt, which is a skill in itself. I
Yes.
do believe.
And to bring this full circle back to the Kansas City Chiefs and Mahomes, people are talking like, is he the greatest ever? And I'm
Well,
like,
yeah,
let's slow down a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls,
yeah. Well, that's
but he lost one.
the world now is just
You
about the
know,
greatest ever.
yeah. Everybody wants to be the GOAT.
Everything's generational.
But,
you
yeah.
know, and see, the whole world, humans in general, they're all about today. This is the greatest thing because it happened today. And I do this a lot, and I'm going to challenge. I won't even challenge you because I know you're not going to know because I don't even think I'm right, but I think I know the answer is. Who won the national? I mean, talk about circle. I'm going to go off the court here, back onto the basketball court. Who won the national championship last year? All of this, this craziness of March Madness, and I forgot. I don't know.
Yeah,
I watched the game.
without thinking,
It was like,
like off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
and I think it was Kansas. But
Yes, it was.
Was it Kansas?
Yes.
Okay. So, but it just shows you how short the window
Yeah.
is for interest in
Yeah.
this sort of stuff. But at the moment, it's the biggest thing ever,
Yeah.
and it's the greatest game ever, and
Yeah.
it's the this and the that, and it can't be matched and this and anything. Listen, Mahomes, if he plays another 15 years and wins another 6 or 7 Super
Yeah.
Bowls,
Then we'll talk about it.
then you got a
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
Up to this point, he certainly has the best record of any quarterback,
Right.
and You can't argue that.
Yeah.
Now, will they continue? You know, will Eric Bieniemy not being there next year have an impact on
Will
it?
that hurt him?
Probably not. I mean, that guy can probably quarterback anywhere with anybody at this point in his life. But he's also got that ankle sprain, and 2 years ago he had another ankle or knee injury, one of those type injuries. You know, he's getting a little banged up, and
Yeah.
you know, that scar tissue starts building up down there in your feet. Believe me, I got feet issues.
It's not
No,
easy.
it's
Yeah.
no fun. He's young. He'll be fine. But he's man, I love watching that guy, and that's why I picked the Chiefs. It was just because of him.
Yeah.
I thought even injured, he could do something that was really special, and he kept him in the game, and Hurts gave it everything he had, yet wasn't quite good enough.
Yeah.
So it's just that thing. He's got that it factor, and just pretty special all around. The greatest ever, the
Yeah.
mini
It's too
goat.
early. It's too early.
It's too early.
Yeah.
I get
I
such a
think so.
kick out of it. But ESPN has made, you know, that's what they do. They get
Yeah.
on in the morning. They go, okay, you know, who's the greatest ever?
All right, let's argue this.
This.
It doesn't,
You
yeah.
know, what is it? It really doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And players that play at the highest level, we're just that, you know, high level players, and you know, you can't compare generations. You just
No.
can't. There's just no way. I mean, if I go to golf, you know, my love would, you know, have a match between Jack Nicklaus in his prime with Tiger, with Tom Watson, Ben Hogan, you know, those four. Let's just take those four.
Yeah.
Throw them in a group and play
Yeah.
them, and they're all 25, and
You didn't
they're
even
all
mention
great players.
Arnold Palmer.
Palmer, I mean, you go down
You
the
know,
list.
yeah.
There's so many folks that they, you know, there's no greatest efforts.
Yeah.
There's higher
That's great.
echelon
Yes.
groups
Yes.
of magnificent, you know, players that did magnificent things.
Yeah. I saw on social media they had somebody put up their tier. It was a pyramid of like the greatest quarterbacks, and they
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
were. I think Tom Brady was one.
Yeah.
Tom Brady always seems to be number one.
Well, one, you know, but could he run around like Jalen Hurts
yeah.
or even Mahomes?
Yeah.
You know, he had a system team that systematically worked.
Right.
And,
Very well. It worked.
Right? And he was
Yeah.
the cog of the wheel. Plus, he had that desire to win. And he was an amazing team leader, an amazing, you know, just
Yeah.
motivator. And he was the coach on the field, and that's what he brought to the table. You know, does it make him the greatest ever? Well, yeah, 7 Super Bowls, 10 Super Bowl appearances. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
But it's a team thing, you know.
Right. Very
He didn't-
much so.
He didn't just do it on his
And
own.
you need a defense.
And you look
He
at him,
can't play
even
ball.
at his age this year, he had 5,000 yards passing or something. It was
Yeah.
something ridiculous. But he wasn't good enough to carry the whole team,
Right.
which sucked around him.
Yeah.
You know, basically, it was just they didn't have what they had 2 years ago when they won the championship. So, you know, and that's just the way it is. And you see some of these rookie quarterbacks come into the league, like the guy Zach Wilson in New York, who really probably wasn't ready to be
Right.
the number 2 pick, and certainly going to New York City. Whoo!
Not.
And he's going to be run out of football because of 2 years. You know, the first year, Mahomes didn't even play
Right.
in Kansas City. Alex Smith was there, and he was a Pro Bowl quarterback. They gave Mahomes a year, and Mahomes says that he learned more about playing football in that year than he'd ever even thought possible.
Right.
Because he learned about the systems and about where to throw it and about how to look at the field and all of this and all of that. And Smith was really good at all of that. So, oh gosh, I'm having a moment. Rodgers, 4 years on the bench
Yeah.
behind Favre.
Yeah.
4. I mean, he's up there in Jordan Love territory right
Yeah.
now. I mean, he was up there in Jordan Love territory.
Yeah.
When he got his chance, then he took over, and then that made that transition away from Favre
Seamless.
even that more.
Yeah.
Well, seamless not seamless for
For
Favre.
fans. For the fans. it
Favre
was.
didn't like leaving.
No,
and
not
he
at
ended
all.
up, coming back around and played good for
Yeah.
the
A
Vikings.
couple more years.
But anyway.
Okay, let's go. I saw this quiz on social media, and I wanted to see. I got a couple of them. I don't know if we'll get to all of them.
Oh, okay.
But it's there because Mahomes and Reed each won their second Super Bowl.
Right.
There are 12 quarterbacks who have multiple Super Bowl wins.
Oh boy.
Just wanted to see how many you could name.
Oh
So
God.
we could either do that one, or there are 13 coaches
Montana, Eli, and Peyton.
with.
There's 3.
Okay, so wait, I got to check these off. So make sure you got.
Montana had 4. Eli had 2. Peyton had 2.
Okay, Montana, Peyton, and Eli. Yep.
Let's
Well, you already mentioned the one guy.
Rogers. No, Rogers only had
No,
1.
he has one. You mentioned Brady.
Oh yeah, Brady.
Yeah,
Right.
you said you even said yes.
Oh, Brady. Yeah.
So, yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's just like.
Yeah.
He should. Yeah. Other than Brady. Let's see.
So
Who
that's
else
four-
Is out
that's
there?
4 of them.
4. Let's see. I'm terrible with this kind of stuff. Clint's the one that needs to be doing this.
I know.
'Cause he can probably name everyone on that list there.
I'll save it, the rest of it for him.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'll come up maybe with another one here in a minute.
All right.
Let's
Well,
see.
it's hard to. 'cause
Dallas,
you wanna
Troy
think.
Aikman.
There you go.
Trying to think
Aikman
who
had
was
3. You
Aikman
forget
had
he
3.
had 3.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Aikman was amazing. Who else? Let's see. Who else won multiple? Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger,
Yeah.
and before him,
Terry
yep,
Bradshaw.
There
Right,
you go.
right,
You're
right.
knocking them right off.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going. I forgot. There had to be multiple Super Bowls
Yeah.
to be in it, and then
What
there were
is it,
certain
one
teams.
or
I looked
two?
this up one time. Who was in how many
65.
Super Bowls? I know the Redskins were,
Yes.
the Redskins at the time were in a bunch of Super Bowls, but
Yeah.
different quarterbacks,
Yeah.
so they didn't.
Yeah.
Have
I saw that too as I was looking at
Steve
this stuff.
Young did he win 2
No,
or just 1?
Just one.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can help you out here.
Let's see.
Now
Who
these
else?
other ones you'll
New
know.
York Giants.
You got 5 left in the. One of
Philly.
them I would not even think about. He lost his first, I want to say, 3 Super Bowls, and then he won back to back.
Mm. Oh, Elway.
Yeah.
God, I should have known that because
Yeah,
I went
Stanford
to
guy.
school with Don Elway.
Yeah, Stanford guy.
That's right. He was in
Yeah.
5. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
And you forget that they lost the
Yeah.
first 3.
Yeah.
Like I think they have a losing Super Bowl record.
I think
They're
they
2
do.
and 3.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking at other teams that never won and
Right.
their records and stuff. But
Well,
all right,
Denver's been in others that they've
Yeah.
lost too, so I think you're right.
Um,
I think it's more than 3.
quarterback on the only perfect team.
Oh, Bob
season.
Greasy?
Yep.
He
Greasy
won, he
2.
won more?
They won back to back.
They did?
Yeah,
I was young then.
yeah.
I do remember that though. The
Oh,
first
I do
one,
too.
the first one they beat the Redskins. That's why I
Yeah,
remember that.
14-7. I just saw something about that on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
When Giro Yepremian's perfect pass.
Oh, I know. It was a beautiful thing.
One of my idols growing up. First 2 Super Bowls.
Unitas? No.
No, Bart Starr
Bart Starr.
for the Packers.
Oh, you're right. That's right. Green
Yeah,
Bay.
one of mine.
Right. Bart Starr won more than one.
They won the first 2.
So they did call those Super Bowls eventually.
Well,
Because that was
it
back
was
in
just
Lombardi
the
days,
first
right?
one was I think yeah,
Yeah.
AFC NFC
Right. They call it something
AFL
else.
CFL championship.
Yeah, but it
But
counts as a
they reverted
Super Bowl,
back to
yeah.
Super Bowl 1 with
Yeah.
it. Because before that,
I was-
it was before the
Yeah.
AFL. That's how this whole thing started.
Yeah.
Is they
Oh, I
wanted to
know
see
with the
who
AFL.
was the
right.
best,
Right.
who had the best league,
Right.
and the Packers
That's what it
crunched
was.
them. That's great.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
And this guy,
Well, that's why Namath made it such a big splash because
Yeah.
of being so
Yeah.
outspoken about beating
Yeah.
the Colts.
yeah, and the Colts were
And the Colts were like the monster
dominant.
team.
Yeah, they were so dominant. And
But it just goes to show that's sports.
okay, you got 2 left.
Wow,
This
there's
guy,
2 more?
Yeah, I know. These are old guys.
Oh, okay, so we're going back.
This guy's known as Captain America, America's team,
For the Cowboys?
the Dodger,
Oh,
Roger the Dodger,
Roger the Dodger. Roger.
Staubach.
He won too?
He won 2, yeah.
dang, I hate Dallas.
I
So
was
I
a
don't
big
even want to
Dallas fan,
recognize
yeah.
it.
And then this last guy
I'd have never come up with that.
is probably the least talked about, out of this list, Super Bowl winner. And he won him with the then Oakland Raiders.
Oh,
I think they beat the Redskins. He was the quarter, I think.
yeah. Well,
He
the
was the
Raiders beat the
quarterback,
Redskins, the '83.
Yeah, and I think he was the quarterback.
Wasn't Plunkett, was it?
Yeah, another Stanford guy.
Yeah, Plunkett was
Yeah,
on those teams.
Plunkett won. Yeah, he won
I didn't
two.
realize he won 2.
Yeah,
So he's one of the most
you don't talk about.
nobody quarterbacks
Yeah.
in the history of the league. And
Yeah,
won
he
2
he
Super
had
Bowls.
they always talk about guys like, Trent Dilfer,
Dilfer, yeah.
who won. I don't
Super
care
Bowl.
who you are.
Yeah.
If you're a quarterback of a Super Bowl winner, you're a good quarterback.
Yeah,
But that's how he was. He was a mediocre quarterback.
yeah, he was.
And then when he got to he was a
Yeah.
reclamation project,
Yeah,
and he got to the Raiders
yeah,
and Tom Flores, and
yeah.
they
Interesting.
turned that around.
Wow.
Out of those guys, who do you want the quarterback? You're down 2 minutes to go, and you got the ball on your 25-yard
Oh,
line.
Mahomes.
He's not, well, he is on that list. That's who you
Now
want.
he's on the list because he's got 2.
I'd
Other than Mahomes.
I'd take.
Other than Mahomes,
Yeah.
all right, that's a good question. I can't say that I wouldn't take Brady. I'd have to be Brady. With
I
with
can't
with the Patriots,
Yeah.
and Belichick
Being that guy. Yeah.
and that team.
Yeah.
As far as being able to do it on his own and run it down the field and run out of bounds and extend plays. And
Yeah.
Elway was pretty darn good at that back in his day.
Yeah. See, I was thinking Elway and Montana.
Yeah,
Those are the
Montana.
guys I would want.
Montana was smooth. Man.
Yeah.
Nobody better than
And Elway-
him when he was.
He could force it in if he had to. Strong
Elway
arm.
was an amazing, amazing athlete.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he had that something about him when he had that
Yeah.
pigeon-toed
Oh, I know.
kind of John Wayne
I got to see
walk.
it. I got to see it live.
Yeah,
I mean, when I was in school,
that must have been amazing.
he was. Let's see. I'm 1 year older than him, so yeah, I was a sophomore when he was a freshman when he came in. Bill Walsh was the coach
Oh yeah,
of
that's
Stanford
right.
at the time.
Yeah,
And the quarterback was named Turk Schonert, who ended
Right.
up in the
he
NFL.
played for the Bengals.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But they were playing UCLA at home, and Stanford Stadium had 100,000 seats, and it was full
Yeah.
because the phenom was there, and it might have been the first home game of the season. And the game was going back. Schonert was the quarterback, and Walsh sent in Elway, and they got in the huddle. They came out of the huddle, and I think he handed it off. I don't know if he threw it or not. I think he did. And then they went up to they didn't go back to the huddle. Back in those days, you didn't do that. There was
Right.
no huddle offense.
right.
But he went right to the line and dropped back and threw like a 30-yarder. Did the same thing, another 20-yard, and then a 30-yard touchdown. I mean, I remember thinking, this is like historical stuff that I'm watching in person. This guy is going to be, famous. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's really something with what I just saw. Now, of course, they didn't even play him the next series. They put Schonert back in, which I thought was interesting. But that began his trek into the world of infamy, ultimately.
There you go. Yeah,
And so on and so on. But he was a good guy. He loved golf. And see, I was on the golf team, and I won Pac-10 championship when I was sophomore, and so I got a little bit of notoriety and was in the school paper, and
yeah,
he used to come up to the golf course and at some of the tournaments and check out the leaderboard. And I don't know that he knew me. I don't know that he didn't know me. But I used to go watch the baseball games in the springtime when I could get away and go over to the stadium. And he had taken the summer job of going to the Yankees
yeah,
because he played baseball. He was a hell of a baseball player. And,
Right.
and they gave him the contract for like $100,000 to play summer ball for
Yeah.
the Yankees. So he couldn't play college baseball. So he's there in the stands with his fraternity buddies. And I was trying to sit, just close enough down there where I could hear what was going on. And man, they had some fun. And he was a good guy. And
Yeah.
I never really had much of a conversation with him, but just to think that, that person became, an NFL
yeah.
star.
Star.
And then, hell, he might as well own Denver,
Yeah.
as far as being there. And he fell on a little bit of tough times in the last couple of years. But I don't think they have fired him. I think they just took him down a notch, and
Yeah,
he's still around the organization.
He's just not the
But,
GM anymore.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun to think back.
Yeah.
Now that I'm old and gray.
All right, I know when we were talking about this, what we're going to do today, you wanted to mention golf.
Yeah, well, it's golf is coming into play now, and I just love the tour, and I love watching high-level players play, and what they do with the golf ball and how well they do it is just it's wonderful. At one time, I had the skill set to match some of it, so I really relate to what it takes to go out and shoot low numbers.
Right.
And the courses they play, they're manicured perfect. Believe me. I played in a U.S. Open in 1984. I played in 7 or 8 tour events, second tour events. I played some more. Man, it's a show. It's just so, you can't even imagine how well the golf courses are put together and manicured on. So from that end, yeah, it's maybe a little bit easier to have good scoring on perfect greens and all that. But this time of year out west, they're not perfect greens because the Poana grass is a little bit bumpy and unpredictable. So you get to see a lot of misses that you don't normally see, and to see how they react to them. That's really the thing that I find most interesting, because they're able to just handle all the adversity that comes along.
Yeah.
And John Rahm was an amazing. He's from Spain. He didn't even speak English much before high school. Apparently taught himself. Came to college, went to University of Arizona, dominated college, left college after 2 years, maybe 3. Went on to the tour and then had some success up to this point. Won the U.S. Open 2 years ago, and has won 3 of the last 5 tournaments that he's played in, and he's just playing spectacular golf.
Well, yeah.
And he's becoming, he's the #1 player in the world now. Finally, it's got that position. But what they're doing this year, in response to the Live Tour, is put together these series of 16 designated events, meaning that the best players in the world have a commitment to playing all 16 events, meaning the top 50, I think is what it is, that are on the PGA Tour. So the caveat is that they're putting $20 million into each tournament. So the first prize is $3.6 million, and goes down from there. And the last person, I think everybody gets paid that's played in the field. So it's like the Live payouts to some level.
Yeah.
And so there's some talk about that. But what it's done the last 2 weeks is brought together the best players, and man, you just see how good these guys are, and that they don't always succeed, and the best, the top 10 player can miss a cut when you don't normally see that.
Right.
And in the lesser fields where it's not all of them together, they might make the cut because the cut number is pretty low. But it should be a fantastic season, and the majors should be interesting because the Live Tour players are going to be allowed to play this year. And, I just hope that folks will give it a shot and watch some golf on Sunday afternoons, if nothing else, and see the drama, because it's great drama. It really has become interesting down the stretch to watch hole to hole and see how it develops, and those little putts, make or break opportunities. And but I'm a golf addict, so
I can understand that.
But even my son is finally coming around to watch a little golf. He said, "Man, that's pretty interesting." So let's give it a chance. If you don't watch, try it. Let's just say that. If you're and some people say it's like watching grass grow. Well, I get it. I don't watch soccer.
Yeah.
Now, when I did watch soccer in the World Cup, I started to get interested.
Right.
Because I was watching it and trying to learn the rules and why things were this way and why things are that way. And that's all. It takes a little bit of that. But anyway, so try it out. That's all I was hoping to say.
All right, two quick things, and then we're probably going to wrap this up. NBA All-Star weekend. If you didn't see it, it's not your father's NBA All-Star game anymore. It's like guys were shooting half-court shots.
Yeah.
Just
I saw
like,
the score was like
they
190
don't. I've seen
to
pickup
180
games.
or something.
I've seen pickup games where guys were faster and quicker up and down the
Yeah.
court. They're just.
Well, it's turned into the Pro Bowl. Like the Pro Bowl
Yeah. And
was
they
no
have
longer
to
the
do
Pro
something.
Bowl. They played flag football.
Yeah, they have to do something about that.
So
Because it's just, to me, that's not entertaining basketball, where
Yeah.
you just,
I don't get it. I don't get it. And they brought, apparently in the skills competition, the one thing I did see is they brought a guy off of the lower level
Oh, yeah,
of,
he's
of
the G League.
the G League.
Yeah, or D
And
League now, it's like.
D League, whatever they call him.
Yeah.
And he saved the dunk
G League.
contest or whatever.
Yeah,
And
Matt McClure.
Yeah.
Guy played at Georgetown. He's a
so,
good player.
yeah, so why is that exciting?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. I missed it.
Yeah, I didn't
I
get much
missed
of it.
so-
And then I guess the All-Star hockey,
Yeah, I missed that too.
I missed that. I'm not a
I
big
don't know
hockey
what's
guy.
going on there.
At some point, we'll get a guy in here who can talk hockey.
Yeah, I watch
the
hockey because I love the
Caps-
Capitals.
Caps are a big
But-
draw. A lot of people down here.
I don't follow
Like
the
'em.
other teams so much. Although I can tell you this, the Caps are hurting right now,
Yeah.
and they might be in a position where they got to sell. And
Um,
they've already traded away Orloff and Hathaway for a journeyman and 3 draft picks, so they're starting to sell.
Yeah.
And Ovechkin's dad died, so he hasn't been around for 2 weeks, and
Yeah, that's.
it just I watched them last night, and they just looked lackluster. They just
Yeah.
didn't seem to have the fire.
Yeah. And
But
the only thing I know, and I heard this in passing when I was a kid. The Chicago Blackhawks
mhm.
were that's probably the closest team I was in Wisconsin to wear a professional hockey.
Right.
And you knew some of the stars, and it was the passing of Bobby Hall,
Yeah,
and
yeah, they're
that
legend.
was like I don't really.
He
in
played when they didn't
Wisconsin-
wear a helmet.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, you pretty much learned how to play hockey early,
Yeah.
and I tried. I just couldn't do it.
No, I played hockey.
And-
I
yeah.
did play as a kid.
Yeah,
I had that opportunity. It's a great game.
yeah, and but yeah. So sorry to hear that. That was kind of a
Yeah.
childhood,
Well, he was old.
not idol. Well, yeah,
I
not
know.
idol, but
Yeah.
a guy I kind of grew up in.
Right.
I knew,
Oh, yeah. He
I
was
knew him. So,
all about hockey.
Yeah, so that's
Absolutely. It's huge in the growth of the experience and watching the game.
All right. A couple other things. Somerset County Rec Parks and Tourism, the Rec and Parks part just finished great indoor season of soccer and field hockey.
Oh, good.
And we are now in the process of taking reservations. We have a Little Sluggers T-ball,
Oh, good.
and that's ages 3 to 5.
Cool.
And that's going to start April 1st. Or they're 3 to 5 as of April 1st. And that's $20. And it's due by April 3rd to register. You can call Lauren or Rachel at our office. Same thing with the girls rec softball. So if you want to get out, get the kids involved.
Great.
So the same thing, call our office or go online to placesomersetmd.com and you can get all the information there. And one other thing we're having is an event, our Terrapin 5K run on our new, relatively new walking trail
Oh, yeah?
from Marion to Chrisfield.
Uh-oh.
So it's a 5K run, and that's going to be Saturday, April 1st at 8 a.m. And again, you can call the rec office, 410-651-4980, or go to www.placesomersetmd.com to get more information. So, and again, if anybody has anything they want to contribute, discuss, cuss, or fuss about what we just talked about, you can email me, GHICKS, that's ghicks@somersetmd.us. You want to get involved somehow, give us your 2 cents worth, possibly come and be a guest. We're always
Yeah,
looking
we'd
for
love
more.
that.
We like to make it, instead of a 2-chair, a nice round table discussion.
That'll be good.
So, yes, if you're interested,
I'm
please
running out
drop
of
me a
things to
line.
talk about.
I know. Well, we'll give you something to
My
think
breadth
about.
of knowledge is pretty narrow.
I think next coming up, we'll talk a little bit college basketball.
Hey,
So if you know
that I
anything
might
about
be able
college
to
basketball,
talk about.
yep, if you know anything about college basketball, let me know. All right, ghicks@somersetmd.us. And for now, that'll wrap it up.
Excellent.
I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. Give us some feedback. And until next time, get outside.
Play some golf.
Play any sport you want. Tell us about it. Thanks.